All right, welcome to tape 28 of the 25 build series. Um, Yesterday, I actually made it, made a tape. However, the computer crashed in the middle of it, so we lost that footage. But nothing really spectacular, other than really just putting some coats of dope on the bare wood pieces. I'm gonna cover anything that's bare wood with carbon veil, zero point 0.02 carbon veil. So they have everything has 3 coats of dope on it, 50-50 mix about. Uh, the other thing I did was just finished up the air inlet, air exit, I should say. Um, I was gonna go with louvers, but as I thought about it, more and more people, you pick a plane up, you end up pushing one of those louvers through. Uh, just seemed like too much of a headache, for not much, really, other than some cosmetics. Uh, all right, so pretty much ready to get started. So I have some Randolph dope, clear dope, non-taunting butyrate, mixed 50-50 with thinner. I got my brush and I have all the parts laid out. Now I'm going to start going through um, how I put the carbon veil on. And just now we're on to the finishing stage. So that's what the overall paint scheme is going to look like. My buddy Cena we've been going back and forth the last few days, and we kind of settled on this. The green's going to be this really cool British racing green looking metallic. So it'll look really sharp, I think. All right, so let's get started. Do need a brand new razor blade. All right, so I got a brand new razor blade to help me cut all this. All right, so the parts all have 3 coats of dope on it. After the second coat of light sanding, not getting fuzz off with 320, and then that's pretty much it. So we'll get started. So what I'll do is I'll kind of just lay it out roughly. So what I want to do, especially on these landing gear spats, is I want to be able to leave the carbon middle open. I think it looks pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll get Alright, so do this in a well ventilated room. I got the vent is open in my basement. I got an exhaust fan going. Alright, so my brush has been sitting in thinner just to keep it soft. Okay, just a little bit of dope on it. So what's nice about carbon veil is it sands pretty well too. It doesn't get fuzzy like tissue does. So what usually we'll do is as I let it dry, you could just sand the edges off and it'll all just fall off, especially if you have a sharp edge. will just dry up a little bit. So I'll wrap the edge, cause this edge anyway, 'cause it seems to work out pretty well. So I'll just take my blade there and cut it off. The yellow piece up front. Sometimes you just need to stick it down. You could just dip the brush in thinner. There's enough dope on it that it'll just activate the dope underneath and make it stick. Alright. First one done. Alright. What's really nice about Carbon Veil is it's light, but you're able to get all the you're able to push all the wrinkles out. If there's any wrinkles, you can push them right out. A little easier than tissue. So, yes, I don't know how many of these videos I'm going to show finishing. I will show some of the stuff I do, but it's pretty redundant. Maybe I'll do some live ones, live streams on down here occasionally. But a lot of this is not, it's pretty quick stuff. Like here is just putting coats of dope on this. Your finger works really good at pushing stuff down. Edges are where you run into the most trouble, especially around sharp edges. Okay. All right. We need a small piece for in here. I don't really need to do this piece, but I don't want any of the green to stick through on it. Stick it down at the back first, and we'll work our way forward. A little thinner on the brush to kind of just get it to soften up some of the dope underneath and get a good stick. Okay. Alright, that dries later today. I'll just cut off the excess. Pretty happy with that. Okay. I'll let that harden up. Let's see, do I have enough to do this without going into the new roll? So I'm using it to last of one roll. It's like not enough. I have enough to do one of these. Alright. So I got a new roll. Okay. Alright, so much fun. I'm not unrolling it. It'd really help if I had a bigger shop, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a piece. close to what I need. I got this carbon veil from Fiberglass. You can get it from anybody. Fiberglass CST has it. There, so that's one. Okay, let's just cut out the second one. Similar to this. So I save all these small pieces because you never know when you're going to need one. And again, these things can always be bigger. You're going to trim them down to size. I'm not going to go over the fiberglass areas. I mean, maybe there will be some overlap, but only a little. Alright, so I'm just going to start from the middle. And work my way out. Start right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully go over where the vents are in the back. I'll cut that. Once it dries, I'll cut it out. Again, just getting a nice... Any of this I'm going to sand out anyway. That's on the fiberglass. I'm putting just a little extra over here because I know that when I sand over here for sure it's going to be a challenge. Alright, and this edge too, the edge on the back, because this is always an area that takes a beating. And the veil adds a little bit of finish to it, which will make it stiffer. Alright, so that's 1/2 done. Same thing. Starting right in the middle of it on a nice flat spot here. Every once in a while I'll dip it into the thinner. So you put the thinner, it gets it to release a little bit extra thin, it gets the bottom coats to release right into it. And you just keep working it out. So sometimes, just like I said, straight thinner will help it lay down, because it'll get the so you gotta just get a hand position. So you will definitely get paint all over your hands when you do this. So you can wear gloves if you want, but what I will say is the thinner will attack the gloves, so just be cautious with it. When this all dries, I'll cut all the excess off. It's real easy comes off pretty easy. And we got a little bit of overlap here. Okay, so there it is. And like I said, once this all dries up, this stuff cuts off easy. I'll cut off all the excess, and then we'll sand it in. I'll take quite a few. Like I said, the edges are the biggest challenge with any of these. Some people say not to go into the fillets with it. I have never had a challenge with it, so go figure. Alright, so we gotta just figure out. So I got my elevator all set up. What I'm gonna do is I like to wrap them so you get the leading edge done without having to fold it over. So what I'll do is take some thinner here and some dope. Just kind of push this down. Just kind of helping it dry up a little bit. Alright. Now what I'll do is I'll brush from the leading edge. So I'll do the leading edge on both sides. And so the carbon veil does a couple things on this. One, it's going to fill all the green in. And I push it in by the hinge pockets, but it will fill all the green in. The second thing, it will add some strength and rigidity. Not much, but a little bit. But right now, if you felt these, you can bend them a little bit. But after I'm done with this process, they will be more rigid. So it's definitely. You can also, some people don't like to do this, but you can also put this carbon veil on with epoxy. There is a weight, you gotta be careful with weight. There was just an extra bit of carbon in there. So one of the challenges is making sure you don't warp the piece. So you gotta be very mindful of how it's drying. Put it on about each side about the same time. Don't worry about the edges too much. Okay. All right, so I use these 3/4 inch scrapers. They're perfect. They're about the right size to fit into the hinge slots. What I try to do is just fold one side down into the edge. And what I'll do is put a little bit extra dope right here. I'll let the two sides come together. That's all going to get sanded off anyway. Okay. I'm not really super concerned with this edge. Because one, it's up against the body, so it's hard to see anyway. Alright, so that's that. What I will tell you is the flaps are my least favorite thing to work on. Let me stick this somewhere in the shop. So I try to stick them up vertically, straight up and down if I can, like that. This way, as it dries, you put it that way, you could get the weight and make a banana out of it. Could. Not likely, but that's really what the flaps I'm really most concerned with. So you can see on the back half, you can kind of really, it's a little more flexible. But once the veil and the dope harden on it, it'll stiffen that right up. Let's see. The carbon veil is not cheap, but as Bob Hunt says, there's only one hobby anyway. Spending money. I probably should have measured the elevator against it. Probably should have, could have, would have, didn't. Let's see, I got enough. Yeah, I got more than enough. Okay. Okay, same thing, just work on the, you could just do it one side and then the other, and then have an overlap. I just always feel like you have to fill then two sides of the veil. And just really pushing this down into the hinge pockets. But you want to make sure as it saturates through. And you can see when you put the thinner on how it does that. Thinner goes right through it. So. So the elevators, and then I have the flaps, and the flaps are my least favorite things to tissue. So now, I mean, the only good thing is, you put this on, you let it dry a couple hours, and you can come back and get it again. So, you know, throughout the days during the week, kind of run down at the shop and you can do it easily. You know, probably take you 30 minutes or so to do all this, to just recoat them. Just keep putting coats on, you know, until it's all filled. I'd say you probably need 3, 4 coats, 5 coats maybe, depends how thin you go with it. What's nice about the veil, even if you don't have let's say you put 4 coats on, and then you go to clear it, I mean, or you can put primer on or whatever color you want, you'll know right away if it's a dry spot, you can sand through it. It won't, okay. Yeah, just pushing the corners down. do have a jig that I put these on for painting. You'll see. I'll show it to you. Jig for the flaps and elevators to hold it, so you don't have to do this every time. But for putting this on, it kind of works well. Okay. After it dries, the first coat, you'll be able to see where it didn't, if it didn't stick down or it bubbles up. And then you just hit that with thinner and push it down. Okay. And now for my least favorite, the flaps. So I save big scraps because you never know when you're going to need them. Alright, so I'm going to need Alright, so same deal with the flaps. Oops. The flaps are a little harder to deal with because they are bigger. Now everybody has different tricks of doing this and ways and so what I've always found when I've done them in the past, if I didn't pay extra attention to the leading edge, I've always had it peeling up and not sticking down. So again, these are my least favorite things to cover. And I do have to make a elevator and flat mold to make this easier. Then I can just make a composite, and I don't have to do this. But hey, it's just fun too as part of modeling. Alright, so we're going to start in the middle here. Just work our way to the edges each way. See, we got a little wrinkle here, just force it down.
Again, same thing. The finishing can go quick or it could not go quick. And what do I mean by that? So this is where you gotta spend the time and not try to rush through any of the processes. I can tell you this, every time I've taken a shortcut, I have paid for it later down the road. So take your time and get it right. Like if you think you're gonna rush through and only put 2-3 coats on, or 2 coats is good, I'll be good. The minute you go to spray it, you'll see all the dry spots on it, or you'll see the veil lifting in spots. Okay, let's just flip this down. And just keep pushing it, keep working it out. Just work it all the way to the edge. It's the only thing as the carbon veil starts to dry, it will stick to your hands. So you just keep working the wrinkles, working it out. So you get any wrinkles, you just push them down. So you can see, if you can see really close, I have a slight bubble here. So you do just work it down. Hopefully I make it to the, I have a gallon of it, and it's really, what a pain to pour a gallon. Okay. As I push each hinge pocket in, because if it's gonna bubble, it's generally gonna bubble in the hinge pocket. What I do want to do is just put a little extra on this edge so the edge kind of glues itself together here. Okay. One more to go. Just making sure this thing is nice and straight. Do I do it? Do we have enough to do it? Let's see. I got it up there. Okay. Alright. So there will be a slight seam in it, which is okay. I'll double up on some of it. Look at that. Quality box. Okay. Again, just working from the leading edge out. Alright, so the finishing process is going to be on this one. Obviously, all the flying surfaces are going to be bad, you know, dope and veil until I get it. Once I get all the coats on, next step is going to be a shot of primer. I'm going to put a coat of primer on. That's I always struggle with finding all the bad spots unless there's color on it. So for me, I kind of need color on it. Some people don't. I do. It really points stuff out to me that I miss. But again, everybody's different. But I'll shoot a light coat of primer on it and sand it all off. And I'll show you the stuff I just recently tried using. I got it on Sparky's Amazon page. I also use Harbor Freight, which I was very good. Sandable, but of course you can't get it anymore. So anything that's any good, you can't ever get it. So. Alright, so we'll work the edge down here. Yeah, so shoot it with primer, and then I'm gonna sand all the primer off. And once I may take a couple iterations of that just to get it right. I need a low spot to fill in. And then once that's all done, depending on that should be come out pretty good. It's interesting as the as the dope dries, the veil sticks to your fingers. Yeah, so once a couple coats of primer, like I said, sand it, continue to sand it until it's all down. Don't want to leave any extra primer on it, just wait. So you want to sand it all down. What I'll do is I'm gonna seal it with black because the green that I'm using requires it to be shot over black. So I'm going to use a mix of some urethane. I'm going to use urethane. The white will be a urethane, you know, car paint. The green, the black and the green and even the gold will be Kratex colors, which are water-based paint, or Wicked colors. Shoot pretty good. and they have excellent coverage. So again, it's like everything else, you just got to do it putting the minimal amount on. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, so once these dry, you just have to go back and see if there's any spots that are not stuck down. Like if you look, the edges are not stuck down. I'm going to stick them down now. So I use the table here to kind of force that around. Okay. And again, on the edge to kind of just glue the pieces together. Make the veil stick to itself. Okay. Alright, now we'll just let that dry up. Alright, you gotta refill my jar. I don't know if it's a neat trick or not, but I use an old alcohol bottle with a thing on it and fill it with lacquer thinner. Just makes it easier. Alright, so I mean, I got a couple of small scrap pieces. Put the veil back. Oh. So what I'll do is I'll take the excess piece and I'll kind of just hang it over it. I'll stick it in the end. And these pieces, I'll just save these pieces to the side just in case we sand through some. Alright, so here's the primer. I tried it the other day. You get it on Sparky's Amazon page. Works pretty good. Here's the stab. This has got the second coat of primer on, ready to sand out. But I sanded out the first one, and it was really good. There was just a couple spots I wasn't happy with, so we'll sand it out. I'm going to show you the stuff just powders right off. Alright, so what I use is 320 paper. See? Couple swipes. Couple swipes and it stays right down, and only the low spots are sticking in there. So this stuff works pretty good. You know, weight-wise, this piece weighed 2.35 ounces, and after spraying second coat on, it's 2.45. After I sand it back down, it'll be right about the same. May pick up a gram, maybe half a gram. I sand it all off to get it back down. Like I said, once I do that, I know that the stab, for example, is all green. So look, that's all green, so I know that'll be black. So, all right, so gotta let some parts dry up, and we'll be throughout the day. I'll be recoating it, so not really much to show. I'll be working on sanding some stuff and getting a primer on it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything you want to see on the finishing in particular. I don't know that people want to sit and watch me sand. Not really a lot of fun. But nothing better to do on a cold Sunday morning. All right, so thanks everyone. And again, if you like them, subscribe, like it, tell your friends. All right, see ya.